Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you're wanting? You enjoy the evolution of your desire? You realize that we are taking thought beyond that which it has been before?
Yes.
That while this is a gathering of satisfying much of what you have come for, depending upon where you are in relationship to your desire. In other words, some of you have things you want to know about, and your vibrational proximity to that desire is not so far from it. So some soft, light conversation here with you focusing and achieving vibrational alignment with the answer. You move right into the vicinity of it and you receive it fully. But sometimes your life experience has you focused in a way that you are so much more aware of where you stand, which is not where you want to be, that even though you are articulating a question that really defines what you want to know or need to know or want to achieve or need to achieve, but you are so involved in the where you are, you're so aware that you don't know the answer or that you don't know what to do. You feel so discouraged or disappointed or resentful or angry or confused, or you just simply are more aware of the absence of what you want than what you want. So without even knowing it or meaning to, you've trained yourself into the vibrational habit of a thought or energy vibration that is so full of resistance, meaning it's about what you don't want rather than about what you do want. And of course, that's always an obvious first step. You always know more clearly what you do want when you know what you don't want. And sometimes life shows you through what you're living exactly what you don't want. But when that happens, an equal, proportionate, what you do want, the other side of that is born out of it. And when what you do want is born out of it, it becomes a vibrational point of attraction that begins to amass all circumstances and events in order to give you the full manifestation of what you want. But if you are still so aware of where you are and what you don't want, then you can't get to it and it can't get to you. You cannot rendezvous with what you want when what's most active in your vibration is your awareness of what you don't want. Some say, well, that's a little tricky, because when I know what I don't want, because I'm living what I don't want, shouldn't someone just give me what I do want so I can feel better? And we say, you've been trying to get that for a very long time, and it is not working out that well. In other words, when you demand that the universe give you something that you are vibrationally not a match to, it's not going to happen. You have to make the match. You have to move your energy. You have to train your thought vibration into a new place. You have to tell a new story. You have to find ways of describing what you do want so vividly and so often that what you do want becomes an active, chronic vibration within you. And when that happens, it has to manifest. It cannot be otherwise. So there are two ways that you can tell if you're a match to what you want or if you're a match to what you don't want. If you're a match to the presence of what you want, or if you're a match to the absence of what you want. One really obvious way, it's manifesting if you're a match to it. In other words, when you are a match to what you want, it's showing up in your life experience. The other way is you can tell by the way you feel, whether you're moving toward or away from what you are really looking for. We really prefer to teach you about your emotions, which help you to know whether you are lining up with or moving away from what you want, because that's really what you came forth to do as genius creator that you are. You want to mold the clay, the creative clay of this time-space reality. And the way you mold that clay is by molding the energy or the thought vibration through your focus. If you wait until it manifests, we call that post-manifestational awareness. Oh, don't like that. Didn't mean to do that. Whoops. It's hard to suck it back, isn't it? Once it's manifested, once it's in your body or not in your bank account, or once your relationship has crumbled or your empire, once you are discordant from what you are wanting to the degree that the discordant has manifested rather than the harmony, you still can turn it around, but it's harder. It's much easier to catch it in the early subtle stages. When you came into this body, you already had the love thing nailed. You already had the I'm worthy beyond verbal description nailed. You knew that when you came. But you came to have more exposure to more life in order to evolve into yet more and more and more and more and more. And you've been doing it, every one of you, and your emotions let you know this one very important thing: how well you are keeping up with you, or how not well you are keeping up with you. So your emotions are so important. They are your guidance system. When you get here, a lot of others around you who have forgotten that, it's easy for them to remember it when they hear it, though. The resonance within them tells them that. But they've temporarily forgotten, and so they're looking at you, and when you're behaving by their standards in the appropriate way, which usually means you had to be born in their vicinity and only hear the things that they were talking about, because if you get out into the world, you get confused right away, because there are a whole lot of people living a whole lot of things in a whole lot of different ways. But so here you are, you're born, and they're looking at you. And if you're keeping the rules that they've set up for you, then they feel appreciation or approval of you, depending upon what's going on with them. But if you behave, they will like you. But if you misbehave, then they won't. And since their liking you seems to be important, that's another big long story, isn't it? You begin to cater to their approval and disapproval. So without meaning to, you've given up this eternal, do you know how long this guidance system has been in place for you? You give up this eternal association with what you call God, and you turn it over to someone who's having a bad day. And then over time, you become more and more confused, because the broader your world becomes, the more different people ask different things of you. You ever had a mother that wanted you in by 10 and a girlfriend that never wanted you to go home? Which one do you please? And that story gets bigger, doesn't it? In other words, when you turn your guidance over to trying to get approval or appreciation from someone outside of your own guidance system, you lose your way. And then outside of this vortex, things are harder. Because when you are outside the vortex of creation, you don't have the benefit of the cooperative universe. You don't have the natural flow of things working for you. So you work harder. It takes more effort. In your confusion, you can't get it right. In your confusion, you can hardly figure out how to get your body moving. In your confusion, you keep bumping up against harder and harder things. But if you will, at any point, and maybe today is a good day, decide that you're going to let your emotional guidance system be your indicator of whether you're in the vortex where the rendezvousing with what you want is taking place, or whether you're out of the vortex where you're trying to use your action in order to make things happen, and you're bucking all of the currents of the universe, especially your own current of what you want. When you make this vortex really, really important, and you decide that nothing is more important than that I feel good. Because when I feel good, when I'm full of love, I'm in there with all that I am. And when I'm full of hate, I'm outside the vortex on the raw and ragged edge of things. So we're going to tell you how this all works, and then we want to talk to you about anything that is important to you. You are beautiful in your bodies. Do you know it? And you are source energy in your bodies. Do you know that? And do you know that while you are in these bodies, vibrant and alive and flowing, do you know that the larger part of you still remains non-physically focused? Sometimes you refer to that non-physical part of you as your soul, your source. We refer to it as all of that, but also your inner being. It's the God force that is really you. It's the furthermost expanded version of you. So you were only non-physical energy before you came into this body. And when you were only non-physical energy, that singular energy stream was pure non-physical energy, meaning it was a very high, clear, pure vibration that held no resistance that would be discernible from your vantage point at all. Pure, positive energy, a sort of swirling love of well-being and knowing, a literal culmination of all that you have become. The best of all life culminated there in that pure energy. And then a part of that energy projected forward or was summoned by the body that was being created within the womb of your mother. And as that energy was summoned into this physical time-space reality, and you came forth and focused into that body, now you have two vibrational vantage points, the non-physical vantage point of pure positive energy and the physical vantage point of whatever it is that has your attention now. So in the moment that you were born, the potential of splitting your energy occurred. And by splitting your energy, we don't mean something has gone wrong. We mean, just like you intended, you came forth to focus. And when you began to focus, even before you could speak, long before you could walk, in the moment that you were born and began to assess your awareness of your environment, you began to offer vibrational frequencies in response to your observations. And when you did that, those frequencies began to emanate, and they began to play a vibrational part with the vibrational emanation from your source. So as this infant, in your first view of physical life, that part of you moved ever so slightly away from the pure positive energy of who you really are. The reason that we are telling you the story in this way is because we want you right now, finally, to acknowledge that you, have two vivid vibrational vantage points. And those vibrational vantage points are playing off of one another all day, every day. That's what your emotions are. When you, in your body, are focused upon something in the way that the source within you focuses, for example, you are appreciating your body and you are loving life, the exhilaration that you feel is because your focused thought and the focused thought of the source within you about the same subject at the same time is a perfect match. So in your fusion, in your blending, in your alignment, in your closing of this gap, in your allowing of your complete connection with who you are, you feel the full vitality of source flowing through you in this actively focused human physical leading edge time-space moment. The best of life. When you are loving someone, perfect fusion. When you are hating someone, not even close. When you are feeling your worthiness, perfect fusion. When you are feeling insecure or unworthy, not even close. We want you to begin to utilize your emotions to let you know the most important thing that you will ever come to wonder about, and that is your relationship with who you are. Because when you pay attention to the relationship between you and you, now in your being tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the energy of you, to the fullness of you, to that which you call God force, to the energy that creates worlds, in that alignment and only in that alignment can you even begin to live your life in the way that you've intended. You are source energy. You didn't come forth to prove worthiness. You came forth as a worthy creator, eager to take thought beyond that which it had been before. And you knew that as you poured yourself into this physical body and into the contrasts that surround you, you knew that the contrast would inspire new desires. You knew that they would emanate from you constantly. And that's exactly what happens. The contrast helps you to know what you don't want, know what you do want. Isn't that the way contrast always works? Do you realize that without vibrational contrast, you couldn't see anything? That it's only because of contrast, photographers know it,